Have you ever noticed that sometimes you feel like you're just not good enough? Well, that's our mindset coaching piece this week, because even though you may not realize it, this kind of self-labeling has a direct influence on your relationship with food and drinks. In fact, beating yourself up with a thought that you're just not good enough, even though you realize you have it all together in other aspects of your life, well, that can be very dangerous, incredibly dangerous, because as you'll see today, this kind of thinking spills over into your health, weight loss, and overall happiness too. So how is it possible that you can have a successful career? Maybe you even own your own business. Maybe you're a great parent, an aunt, a daughter, a friend, totally respected. You might even be an outstanding athlete or artist, and you likely have others who even compliment you on your successes, but you constantly have subtle thoughts and feelings that you're just not good enough. It can be bad to be uncomfortable in your own skin. Sadly, thinking I'm not good enough is a far too common thought that can plague people of all ages, income levels, education levels, and cultures. But remember, those ants or automatic negative thoughts are sneaky to all of us because, see, we all have this little voice inside of our head, and it runs constantly. It provides live commentary about your life to the audience of your brain, but it's not an objective reporter. It likes to act as a critic, a judge, and a jury, especially when it comes to social situations, and especially when you might just be influenced by your past, those dragons of the past that say, she never texted me back. She must think I'm not smart enough, fun enough, helpful enough, good enough. You know that voice, right? And you see what I mean, right? The inner voice is harsh, mean, and very judgmental. And unfortunately, those self-loathing thoughts do not discriminate. They can infest anyone's mind, starting small, with subtle little thoughts like, I really have to get my life together, or if I just wouldn't do that, or you'll never succeed. And it also can sound like sneaky comparisons, such as, she has it all together, or why can't I be more like her? The problem is that all of those thoughts largely go unnoticed by your brain. Yet your brain keeps offering those ants, so over time you start believing them. And before you know it, you have a complete belief system that says you're not good enough. Those ants about not being good enough create this belief system that is literally the mother thought of despair, and it's very hard to get out of. It can literally drag you down and ruin your life by breeding anxiety, depression, and more. But hard feelings are painful. Nobody wants to feel pain or suffering. So when your brain perpetually feeds you thoughts that you're not good enough, it can feel pretty intolerable. It can make you feel like you are unworthy. And when you don't feel worthy as a human being, well, it can make you feel like your life doesn't even matter, which makes you more vulnerable to engaging in unhealthy habits such as overeating, drinking, or even using drugs. Could even be overexercising. In fact, it makes a lot of sense that you might ask food, drinks, even exercise and more to buffer that pain. It's intolerable. No one is immune to this toxic thought, and therein lies the problem. Our inaccurate thoughts get us into trouble when left unquestioned. In fact, we mistake our inaccurate, automatic negative thoughts, those ants, as true circumstances. And those inaccurate ants create feelings of suffering that keep you stuck in a victim's role and thinking that nothing in your life will ever change, convincing you that you'll never be good enough. Of course, social media drives this problem. It's so easy to see the lives that others are creating or at least portraying on social media. And the first thing you might think is, why can't I be like that? Or when will I ever lose this weight like she did? You might even find yourself having sneaky thoughts in social occasions that sound like, I'm such an imposter, or I'm only fun when I eat or drink. If my friends saw the real me, well, they wouldn't even want to be with me. But all of that is just a recycling and a guise for the thought, I'm not good enough. It's the same thought, just sounds a little different. And yet that automatic negative thought is not true. That ant is at least two of our ant species. One, it's focusing on the negative, and two, it's guilt beating that you should be someone or something else that you're not. So there are 7 reasons that might just be fueling your thoughts of not being good enough, along with ways to change your thinking. I'm going to share those with you today. This is going to help you to stop being so hard on yourself and buffering your life with food, drinks, or other overing self-destructive behaviors. So check these out. First reason is self-criticism. Are you frequently thinking that you're not good enough, that you're a failure, or that you don't deserve love? Those thoughts are all ants that infest your mind and steal your happiness. And here's how you can feel better fast. Do not believe every self-critical or negative thought that you have. I want you to challenge that ant by asking yourself, is that thought true? Then try to find evidence that the opposite of that thought might just be more true. Number 2, comparing yourself to others. These days, it's almost impossible not to compare yourself to others on social media. I know this. But trying to live up to the images that you see online is a recipe for feeling like a failure. Here's how you can feel better fast. First, limit your exposure. But above that, stop trying to judge yourself based on the successes of others. Instead, strive to be the best version of you and make sure your thoughts align. Number 3, focusing on the negative. So let's say you won a game of golf or tennis by maybe just a few points. Would you focus on those few points that you lost and beat yourself up about what you did wrong? When your focus is on what you're doing wrong or on areas of your life where you don't measure up, see, it trains your brain to look for more negativity and it keeps you stuck in low self-esteem. So here's how to feel better fast. Write down the 20 top accomplishments in your life and 5 positive attributes you've had and look at it anytime you're feeling down about yourself. By focusing on your strengths and accomplishments, you'll develop a healthier self-esteem. Number 4, perfectionism. When you believe that the only way others will love you or value you is if you're perfect, well, you're setting yourself up for failure, anxiety, and depression. This kind of toxic perfectionism is extremely harmful to your overall emotional well-being. No one's perfect. Here's how to feel better fast. When you make a mistake, try to treat yourself the same way you would treat a friend. Talk to yourself the same way, or to a family member. Learn to forgive yourself. Number 5, childhood trauma. Experiencing childhood trauma, emotional abuse, or other traumas as a child can have a lasting negative impact on your sense of self-worth. So instead, seek the help from a health coach, a professional, a health provider to address unresolved issues, especially if you've had abuse in your past. Number 6, critical parents. When you were a child, was it impossible to please one or even both of your parents? Were you criticized about your looks, your weight, your school, work, performance, your friends, other things? If you were proud to come home from school with B pluses on your report card, did your mom or dad neglect to congratulate your hard work and ask why you didn't get A's? See, that constant criticism can set you up for a lifetime of feeling like you're just not good enough. So instead, feel better fast by remembering that when parents criticize a child, it often has more to do with their own issues and failures than yours. Try not to take their remarks personally, and especially now at the holiday season. Number 7, negative social circles. If you surround yourself with people who are negative and who point out your flaws, well, you're likely going to adopt that same attitude. So instead, surround yourself with positive people who are encouraging and supportive and who lift you up, because you will feel better about yourself. Now, it is your turn to start identifying the cause of your thinking. Which of those 7 is playing an influence on your life? Why are you thinking you're not good enough? It's time to disrupt those thoughts and those ant species. It's time to stop asking food and drinks to buffer your thoughts about not being good enough. And of course, if you need help with this process, please jump on one of our Monday group coaching sessions on Zoom at noon, or schedule a private coaching call, which are also available to you. Now remember, you have unlimited coaching support in our Infinity Health coaching program. So please drop a comment on today's Facebook and let us know which one of those ants are you working on today.